Hello, today we are going to talk about for loops. Now, for loops are pretty much the same as while loops, but when you trace them, these things are in kind of a weird order. So what I like to do whenever I think of for loops, because I'm hungry and I always like desserts, is I like to think of a little ice cream cone. That's not a very good drawing, but I mean, you get the picture. Doesn't really matter because really the ice cream cone looks something like this. You want to trace that shape when you are drawing your for loop. So as you can see, I've made my little ice cream cone right here. See, it's going to go from I is greater than or equal to 45 up until I is equals I minus 5, and then back to I is greater than or equal to 45. So let's show how this starts. We actually start at step 1 where we initialize I to 70. And then we will have some type of output, but after step 1, we first check step 2 and we think, okay, is I greater than or equal to 45? If it is, which is it is, then we will go down to whatever is inside the curly braces in the loop. So we will do system.out.println, and that just means that we print 70 as my output. After the print statement, we will go back up to I equals I minus 5. So I now becomes what it used to be minus 5. So it used to be 70 minus 5 is 65. After we're done with that fourth step, we just go back to I is greater than or equal to 45. Is that true? If it is, which it is, then we will go ahead and go back down to print. So we print out I, which is 65. Now we go back up to I equals I minus 5. So make that go down by 5 and decrement by 5. Now we go back to the check. Let's see, I is greater than or equal to 45. It's still true, so we go back down to print line. So we print that, it's 60. And then after we print, we go back up to I equals I minus 5. That makes 60 into 55. We check again. Always go back and check. Is I greater than or equal to 45? Since it is, we go back down into the print statement and we print out that 55. Go back to I equals I minus 5. Now it's 50. Pretty much doing the same thing, checking, is it greater than or equal to 45? Yes, it is. So we go down into the print statement, prints out I, which is 50. Go back up to the decrement, I equals I minus 5, making I 45. Go back and check, is I greater than or equal to 45? Looks like we're getting toward the end, but we're still not there because I is equal to 45, so that means that this step 2 is still true, so we will print this again in the output, and then we go back to I equals I minus 5, which is now 40, and now we check again, is I still greater than or equal to 45? In this case, I is 40, so it looks like we're pretty much done. Sorry, erase that on accident. But anyway, we're done now, so we can exit the loop and say that this thing is our answer. Some things to keep in mind, this is actually the same as a while loop, so if you wanted to rewrite this as a while loop, this thing up here is the exact same thing. By the way, if you want to follow along, these are the notes that you are looking at. So int I equals 70, that's step 1 because we do that first. While I is greater than or equal to 45, that's like our step 2 because we do that second. The print statement is third, so we'll do that third. I equals I minus 5 happens fourth because the ice cream cone drawing means that's our step 4. So both of these mean the same thing. Here is yet another way to do a for loop. You can actually declare int I at the beginning, and then here you don't say int again, you just set I equal to 70, and then the rest of it is pretty much the same. So you could write this exact same loop all these different ways. On to the next example. So in this example, it's just another for loop, except this time we're going to deal with a product. Let's label our steps again. We first start with s equals 10. We draw our little ice cream cone, which I've already drawn in green here. So we do the check first, so s is greater than or equal to 7. We then go inside the braces, so we do product equals product times s next. And finally, we do the increment or decrement, which is s minus minus. So we go through this loop, and then once this loop is done, we will end up printing out the product. As you can see, if you can also write this as a while loop. So if you're confused about the sequence of for loops, you might want to try rewriting it as a while loop. So product equals 1 is outside the loop, so that'll just go first. Int s equals 10, that is how we start the for loop. The second thing is s while s is greater than or equal to 7. Inside the braces, we will do product equals product times s, so that's the third thing that we do. And then right after that, we go up to s minus minus, so that's the fourth thing we do, and we just continue this process throughout. Finally, we print line the product because that's the line just below the loop. So let's go ahead and try tracing this loop. S starts as 10. We also have a variable for the product, and we have a variable for output that we will eventually use. So S is 10. S is 10, we did that. Now we go to step 2. S is greater than or equal to 7. True or false? It is true. So we go ahead, go product equals product times S. So the product becomes what it used to be, which was 10. I'm sorry, the product started out as 1. If I can ever get this to work. There we go. I'm sorry, we forgot to do that step here. Product starts as 1, then s equals 10. Then check to see if it's greater than or equal to 7. Since it is, product becomes what it used to be. It used to be 1, times it by s, which is 10, so now the product is 10. Next, we go to the decrement, s minus minus, that's 9. Now go to the check. Is 9 greater than or equal to 7? Yes, it is. So we go down to the product. So product becomes what it used to be times s. It used to be 9 times it, it used to be 10 times it by s, which is 9, which means our new product is 90. Then we s minus minus, so it's 8. So go back and check, is 8 greater than or equal to 7? Since this is still true, we go into the product again. The product becomes whatever it used to be, which was 90, times that by s, which is 8, and that gives you 720. Now that we did the product, we go back up to s minus minus, making it 7. And so check again, is s greater than or equal to 7? Yes, it still is. So we go into the loop. Product becomes product times s. The product used to be 720, times it by s, making it 7. This gives me 5040. After we do the product, s minus minus is 6. So we go back and check, is s greater than or equal to 7? Since it is not, we're done. And now we just output the product, which is 5040. And that is our answer. Let's go on to the next example. So the next example is basically just how to free response write these. So when you're doing your program for your loops lab, you had to write a sequence of numbers a bunch of different ways. So far, you should know 3 different ways from the previous notes examples. But this time, you're going to learn 2 more ways. And all you have to do is just translate these ways into for loops. I've actually done that over here. Whoops, not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. There we go. So, as you can see, this one translates to this solution here. So, int num equals 15, that goes in the left part of the for loop. The condition we have to check goes in the middle. We then print out num, so that goes here. And remember, let's draw a little ice cream cone. Goes from the check down here, up to the increment, and back to the check. Num minus equals 4 comes next, so that should go here. So you're basically just following the arrows and placing the stuff in where it should go. So this is one solution. Notice I put a smiley face by this. I'll just put another one right here. Here is another solution right here. So what you can do now is it's pretty much the same thing. So we start with int count equals 0. Put that first. Oh, let's draw our little ice cream cone. Count equals is less than or equal to 4. That goes in the middle. Follow the arrows. Print comes next, so we put that next. Then count plus plus is what comes next. So that goes up here. And that's another solution. Now technically, you could do this solution if you would like and change that into a for loop in which you would get this result. However, this ends up being kind of a weird result. Like technically this works, but most people do not normally put the print statement up where you usually increment or decrement the number. So I would say that's a messy solution. So I don't like that one as much. For a better answer, you want to use the top and the bottom solutions. Those are the best ones. The ones with the big old smiley faces, those are a big old yes. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, just let me know. Thank you.